At around 2.5 to 3 years of age, we got a hint that he could be having autism. It's very devastating when you have a member of the family who is suffering from autism spectrum disorder. As his parents, we did our very best, which was to be able to help Kyle improve both in school and in other therapies. But everywhere we went, it reached a point they would tell us they can do no more. So we do appreciate, we thank God for this opportunity. We do appreciate Dr. Mahajahan's hospital, stem cell therapy. I know it works, and I know it doesn't just work for autism, because that is my area of interest because of my son, but I've also interacted with people who have also had other conditions which has actually assisted them. So yes, stem cell works. I'm called Elon Mwangombe. I have a son by the name of Kyle Mwangombe. Kyle Mwangombe, when he was born, we didn't see much of a difference. We knew he was like a normal child. But from the ages of about 2 years, we started noticing some delays in milestones, and we started an inquiry of what could be happening to him. And at around 2.5 to 3 years of age, we got a hint that he could be having autism. Kyle at the moment is going to turn 18 in just a few days. Now, I'm from Kenya, specifically from a city called Mombasa, which is the coastal city, the main coastal city in Kenya. And back then, there was not so much that was known about autism. Even in the medical field, as we went to see doctors from one doctor to the other, they couldn't quite tell us what convincingly that it was autism. It was always a suspicion that it could be autistic. We continued pursuing further information and further experts, and went to Nairobi. We were seen in about 3 centers, and that's when they completely confirmed to us that he has autism. And there is where our autism journey started as Kyle's parents and as a family. As we are aware that how autism can impact a family, it's very devastating when you have a member of the family who is suffering from autism spectrum disorders. And as his parents, we did our very best, taking several therapies, which was to be able to help Kyle improve both in school and in other therapies. But everywhere we went, it reached a point they would tell us they can do no more. They can do no more. And when it reaches, I think at the time Kyle was about 9 years, going to 10. He was 10 years of age, and when one of the last institutions they said they can't do anything for Kyle, it was a very hopeless situation. As parents, we were like, now, so what else can we do? We have a child here, our son, we have accepted him, but there's nothing more that we could do. But we didn't stop there. By God's grace, we started looking and reading around how to manage children with autism. So about 7 years ago, what we did was we found an institution that was doing stem cell, which was here in India. And so we did go to that institution and did 2 rounds of stem cell. At that time, Kyle was 10 years, going to go to 11. And so we did the stem cell alone and a bit of therapies. And yes, what I would say is when the institutions in Kenya told us there's nothing more, Kyle was almost in his own world 100%. You could not communicate with him. There was no feedback. He would just be him. And it was a very frustrating thing. And that's why we did the stem cells. So when we needed the stem cells, the 2 stem cells, the diagnosis in fact they gave us was very severe autistic spectrum disorder. So when you do the 2 stem cells, we did see some change. So there was improvement. At least there was recognition. Kyle would know who is dad and mom, but he would not speak. His behavior still remained the same. We went again, started therapies, did speech therapies, physio. Even then, we were doing speech therapy until the speech therapy said, we can't do no more. The OTs, they can't do anymore. And that was now all this 7-year period. We would have wanted to come back to India, but COVID happened. The lockdown happened. We had travel restrictions. We had have to get vaccines and all those things. We all know what happened. And so now when the world started opening up, maybe about a year, 2 years ago, when now we were returning to where we were before, we started again another journey of finding what else can we do. Because the previous place we went, they told us they only can do this treatment for children. Now Kyle is 17 going to 18. It was not going to be effective for him. So we on our studies and our research, we found stem cell treatment. And this one is different because it's just not stem cell, but it also is accompanied by other therapies. There is the fecal therapy that they do. There is a stem cell that they do. The stem cell they do both from bone marrow and placenta. There is, on top of that, they have ozone that they do into the ears. They have also other therapies. There is quantum energy they use, like photomodulation, vibration energy. So all these come together in helping the cells that have been placed in a patient to be active, to open up the pathways that are preventing Kyle from getting to the next level. We are looking at Kyle having to be able to express himself in speech. We are looking at Kyle to be able to modulate his behavior so that it can be acceptable in society. So that is our aim. And since we came here, we have been here for about 15 days. It is intense. It has been very intense. The people have been extremely professional in everything they have done. They have explained to us what they are doing and all those things. They are very open to questions. They are open to feedback, whether it's positive or negative. They want to improve, but they are doing a great job. That is what I can say. They are doing an excellent job. And we thank God for this opportunity that He was able to give us to bring our son here so that he could be able to go through all these things that we have done for him, and we have actually seen some improvement. I know, because having been a parent of a child who's autistic for 18 years, there is a lot that must be done for us to see a lot of changes. But the short time that we have been here, we have seen some hints and signs of a positive change in Kyle. We have been given work that we must do when we get back to go back home, back to Kenya. It's not just the end. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of engagement that we have to do, and we're going to be keeping in touch with them. They have told us, Don, it's not just goodbye. We're going to keep in touch, and then we'll be able to see what else we can do to help Kyle. So we thank God for this opportunity. We do appreciate Dr. Mahajahan's hospital, stem cell therapy. I know it works. And I know it doesn't just work for autism, because that is my area of interest because of my son, but I've also interacted with people who have also had other conditions which has actually assisted them. So yes, stem cell works, and most importantly also, when you add other therapies that they actually do provide, you can actually see good and positive results. Thank you very much.